Donald Trump Taiwan phone call was planned. The controversial phone call between Donald Trump and the leader of Taiwan had been planned for weeks as part of an intentionally provocative move to take a tougher line with China. White House spokesman Josh Earnest says U.S. officials have been in touch with Chinese counterparts to reiterate the One China policy after President-elect Donald Trump's protocol-bending phone call with Taiwan's president. The protocol-breaking call, the first between the country's leaders since 1979, was mooted even before Mr. Trump became the Republican nominee, those involved in the planning told the Washington Post. Mr. Trump's advisers had long discussed the idea of a new strategy for engagement with Taiwan and taking a more hard-line approach with China, those briefed on the talks claim. According to the Trump camp, Taiwan President Tsai Ing-wen called on Friday to offer her congratulations on his electoral victory. Some questioned the move and Beijing said it signaled his inexperience with foreign policy, while Mr. Trump remained defiant and yesterday appeared to take a swipe at China with tweets implying he didn't need China's permission to talk to anyone. Did China ask us if it was okay to devalue their currency, making it hard for our companies to compete, heavily tax our products going into their country? The U.S. doesn't tax them, or to build a massive military complex in the middle of the South China Sea? I don't think so. China have accused the Taiwanese of playing a little trick on Mr. Trump. Washington cut formal diplomatic relations with Taiwan in 1979, switching recognition to Beijing as the sole representative of China, and no U.S. president or president-elect is believed to have spoken to a Taiwanese leader since then. But the United States has maintained an ambiguous and at times contradictory approach to Taiwan. On the one hand, America sells high-end weaponry to Taiwan, but it does not formally recognize Ms. Tsai, the country's president, as a sovereign leader. The policy is designed to provide democratic Taiwan with enough military clout to fend off China's vastly bigger armed forces and preserve peace in the region. Many observers saw the phone call, initiated by Ms. Tsai, as a possible shift in long-standing U.S. policy. China regards self-ruling Taiwan as part of its own territory awaiting reunification under Beijing's rule, and any U.S. move implying support for independence, even calling Ms. Tsai president, as Mr. Trump did in a tweet announcing the call, prompts grave offense in China. Relationship undermined. Meanwhile, the White House said progress in the United States' relationship with China could be undermined if the issue of Taiwan's sovereignty flares up. White House spokesman Josh Earnest said Obama administration officials had been in touch with their Chinese counterparts to reiterate the U.S. support for the One China policy, which does not recognize Taiwan as a sovereign nation. Mr. Earnest said it's hard to determine what Mr. Trump's aims were in speaking to Taiwan's leader. He also said it's unclear whether it helps Taiwan if this issue is raised. Terrific move. Not all disagreed with the phone call. Republican Dana Rohrabacher claims he is under consideration to become the next Secretary of State and says it's terrific that Mr. Trump flouted decades of U.S. diplomatic convention by speaking directly to the leader of Taiwan. The call irritated China, whose leaders consider Taiwan a rogue province. However, Mr. Rohrabacher told Fox News yesterday that it's not as though Mr. Trump violated any treaties. He said, "I think it was a terrific message to them that we're no longer going to be pushovers and there's going to be consequences for their hostile and aggressive actions." Mr. Rohrabacher is a California Republican known for his favorable views of Russia. One China policy. Taiwan's full name remains the Republic of China, while the mainland is the People's Republic of China. But both still formally claim to represent all of China. In 1992, Taiwan and mainland China both agreed that there is only one China, covering both places, although they agreed to disagree about what that precisely meant. The policy means that, essentially, countries must choose which territory represents one China. Most countries have chosen Beijing, while also maintaining some ties, if nominally unofficial, to Taiwan. Washington does not formally recognize Taiwan and officially sticks to the One China policy that says Beijing is the legitimate government of all of China. But in practice, the small island enjoys many of the trappings of a full diplomatic relationship with the United States. While there is no U.S. embassy in Taipei, Washington runs a non-profit center called the American Institute in Taiwan, which serves as something of an unofficial consulate. Many people in Taiwan today remain distrustful of Beijing, while others are keen to explore warmer relations, especially when it comes to trade opportunities. With staff writers